the biggest takeaway was to not just sit on your bottles, how a lot of people do because they're so expensive and they're rare, to really enjoy it with those that you love. And then to be able to share that with our guests too, we can kind of create those experiences. One, by just teaching them that, what we've learned, and then we create it by selling them the awesome antique spirits that we have in all the other bottles. And we get to be a part of it, which is really cool.
Well, down the road from me, there's an old high tree where you lay down $1 or $2. When you roll around the bend and you come back again, there's a jug of good old Mountain Dew. Well, they call it that good old Mountain Dew, and them that refuse it are few. I'll hush up my mug if you fill up my jug with that good old Mountain Dew. Pick one there, Henry.
So please welcome Heaven Hill's Master Distiller, Mr. Conor O'Driscoll.
I grew up in Dublin. I'm a chemical engineer. Moved to the States 30 years ago, got in the business 16 years ago. Most of that with Brown Forman. Most of my Brown Forman time was with Woodford. I left there in summer of 17 with Angel's Envy for a short while, and almost exactly a year ago I joined Heaven Hill as Master Distiller and kind of haven't looked back since. I run the world's largest bourbon distillery.
Brag, brag, brag.
It's it. So we make 5 mash bills. Heaven Hill Regular, which is our rye bourbon. We make a peanut bourbon, a rye whiskey, a wheat whiskey, and a corn whiskey, mellow corn, which is in the glasses. It's one of the things you're tasting tonight. They are all produced at the Bernheim facility. 1 million pounds of grain a day. Enough to make enough whiskey for 1,300 gallons. Thank you all very much. We rely on you guys. We appreciate everything you do. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, the preacher he walked by with his head hoisted high, said his wife had come down with the flu. He said that I ought just give him a quart of that good old Mountain Dew. Well, they call it that good old Mountain Dew, and them that refuse it are few. I'll hush up my mug if you fill up my jug with that good old Mountain Dew. I'll hush up my mug if you fill up my jug with that good old Mountain Dew.
This would have been clear, that good old Mountain Dew we just sang about. But when we started putting it in barrels years later, decades later, to get down the Ohio River to St. Louis, the first really trading post, take a few weeks to get down there on those Kentucky boats in those barrels that they had burned out to receive that whiskey. And then went about 8 or 9 months down to New Orleans. When they got this down to New Orleans, it looked like this, it tasted like this. And this wasn't just whiskey, folks. At the end of the barrels, they put the port that it left from, which was Old Bourbon, Kentucky. And the contents, because you can't see through a barrel, you had to put the contents on the end of the barrel, and that was whiskey. So when people tasted this wasn't whiskey. This was old bourbon, old Kentucky bourbon whiskey. Right? So here is to the future name of our spirit. Here's to the future backbone of our spirit, which is corn. So here's to the missing link, mellow corn. If it wasn't for mellow corn, we would not have bourbon today. Cheers.
Cheers.